Ojutole. First, the major headlines. Federal government disburses 9.5 billion naira conditional grant to 142,000 households in Katsina. Serap sues Buhari over $25 billion overdraft taken from CBN. Zuma compares sentencing to South Africa under apartheid. And in the world of sports, AFN opens Olympics camp in Abuja. Details. The federal government has so far disbursed 9.5 billion naira as conditional grant to 142,000 poor and vulnerable households in Katsina State. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development Sadia Umar Farouk disclosed this while distributing palm-top computers to 108 independent monitors of the Social Investment Program in Katsina on Sunday. Umar Farouk said President Muhammad Buhari is giving approval for the expansion of the social register to accommodate more poor and vulnerable Nigerians in the conditional cash transfer scheme. The minister, represented by Director Information and Communication Technology (ICT) Malam Aminu Tukur, said Buhari anticipated lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by 2030. She tasked the independent monitors to work hand in hand with the State Office of the National Social Investment Program (NSIP) to ensure transparency in the implementation of the program. The Senate Constitution Review Committee has ratified a proposal that would compel the President to form his cabinet within 30 days of assumption of office. Governors are also to be mandated to form an executive council within the same time frame. These are part of the proposals voted yesterday by committee members. According to reports, they will form part of the recommendations for the Senate's approval during the clause-by-clause consideration of the proposal for review in the Constitution as submitted by the committee, while sources said last night that the committee members voted on these issues yesterday. Other major issues decided upon include making it mandatory for the President to make an annual State of the Nation address to Nigerians before a joint seating of the National Assembly, reservation of 10% slots for women in the cabinet, and other appointments, and fixing of a specific time for the proclamation of the National Assembly by the President. However, a source said an early formation of cabinet will enable elected leaders to hit the ground running, adding that this will lead to the amendment of sections 147 and 192 of the 1999 Constitution. Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has filed a lawsuit against President Muhammad Buhari and others at the Federal High Court, Abuja, over the $25 billion overdraft obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) since May 29, 2015, including the projects in which the overdraft have been spent and repayment of all overdraft to date. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. Joined in the suit as respondent are the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami SAN, the Minister of Finance and Budgets and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. The suit followed SERAP's Freedom of Information (FOI) request to President Buhari, stating disclosing details of overdraft and repayment would enable Nigerians to hold the government to account for its fiscal management and ensure that public funds are not mismanaged or diverted. In the suit filed last week, the organization is seeking an order of the court directing and compelling Buhari to disclose details of overdrafts taken from the CBN by successive governments between 1999 and 2015, and whether the $25 billion overdraft reportedly obtained from the CBN is within the 5% limit of the actual revenue of the government for 2020. The suit filed on behalf of SERAP by its lawyers Kolawole Oluwadari and Ms. Adelanke Alremo states that transparency and accountability in the spending of CBN overdraft would also ensure that public funds are properly spent, reduce the level of public debt, and improve the ability of the government to invest in essential public goods and services such as quality education, healthcare, and clean water. You are still listening to the news at 8 on T-Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sports news. Do remember that you can download our app T-Solid and Play Store, log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our social media platforms, all at T-Solid Radio TV. And now to some foreign stories. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has insinuated that the apartheid government which he fought against treated him better than the current one. He told reporters he had always fought against injustices and was shocked when he was sentenced to prison without trial that he fought against during the white minority apartheid rule. The former president said he believed courts were being used by his political opponents to settle scores. Mr. Zuma had been given until Sunday to hand himself over to authorities to serve his 15-month prison sentence after being found in contempt of court last week. He insisted on Sunday that he was not going to comply after the Constitutional Court agreed to hear his application to have the judgment rescinded. Meanwhile, hundreds of supporters have been camping outside his home, saying they are protecting him from being arrested. Mr. Zuma was handed the prison term on Tuesday after failing to appear before a corruption inquiry despite orders to do so, if you'd recall. Four Malian soldiers were reportedly killed when the patrol was ambushed in the Timbuktu region near the town of Lere. France, which deployed over 5,000 troops in Mali, said on Friday that it has resumed joint military operations in the country after they were suspended in May following the country's second coup in less than a year. The jihadist threat has been steadily growing across the Sahel region, while in neighboring Burkina Faso, thousands of people have taken part in 2 days of protest against the deteriorating security situation. Finally, in the exciting world of sports, this morning, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria's camp for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics opened in Abuja on Sunday. Secretary General of the AFN, Adisabe Yoku, in a letter dated July 2nd and addressed to the Director, Federation Elite Athletes Department in the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, invited athletes and coaches to the Olympic camp, saying a total of 25 athletes and 10 coaches were invited to camp ahead of the Tokyo Games. Blessing Okagbari, Grace Kocha and Rosemary Chukwuma will feature in the women's 100 meters, while Okagbari Kocha and Favor Philly will take part in the women's 200 meters at the Olympics. The women's 4x100 meter relay team will have Okagbari Kocha, Chukwuma, Knowledge Omovo and Ophili, while Tina Godbless will serve as alternate members. The men's team will have Divine Ududuru, Raymond Ekekuvo, Enoch Adegoke, Usherishe Ishikiri in the 100 meters, while Ududuru is the sole athlete in the 200 meters. The coaches are Rotimi Obajimi, Kayode Yaya, Samuel Onikeku, Gabriel Okon, Opwana Gabriel and George Obiano. Some athletes also have personal coaches who would join the team in camp. And with that, I've come to the end of the news. Here is a recap of the major headlines. Federal government disburses 9.5 billion naira conditional grant to 142,000 households in Katsina. Sarap sues Buhari over $25 billion overdraft taken from CBN. Zuma compares sentencing to South Africa under apartheid. And in the world of sport, you heard AFN opens Olympic camp in Abuja. Do ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID-19 as recommended by the WHO and NCDC. Do remember that you can download our app T-Solid in Play Store. Log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our social media platforms, all at T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled by Akachi Chijioke. I am Mobola Bade Kale. Good morning and thank you for listening.